Hello, and welcome to another Tuesday night live stream. Hopefully, you're all doing well and avoiding the storms that are out there across the country, and possibly tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But I see the chat's very active already, so let's get to it. Grish, as usual, is first. He says, "Good evening, fellow nerds." Bob and I resemble that remark. David is here on time, as he notes. Jeremy's here. Welcome in. Keith, welcome in. Did you stream tonight? If you did, I didn't see that. Or are you still recovering? I can't remember exactly now. Yes, the crew is coming together quickly, as they do. You know, this is actually an interesting point because my coworkers who are kind of like say I'm not a typical nerd, and I kind of always tell them I'm not because I don't play board games like that D&D. I don't have a PlayStation or I don't have an Xbox. Like I don't play video games in general. And they're always and I don't like Star Wars or Star Trek. So they're always like, "You're not really a nerd." And I'm like, okay, I guess by your definition, I'm not. So I like this. I like your response. I'm going to use that next time they say that because I'm not really a nerd by their definition. I thought the same thing. Hashtag geek for life. Now I feel like that should be my license plate. Geek for life. That'd be interesting. Keith says he was not able to stream today. Oh boy, are you okay, Keith? Eric's here. Joe's here. Welcome in. Eric says, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Yes, that would be helpful. There are 10 viewers currently, only 3 likes. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Keith. Kurt is here from Clear Life Media, and Kurt is actually presenting as part of Black Magic next week at NAB. So looking forward to that. Keith says, "I'm a live streaming nerd." Yeah, that's. Nils says, "Do you like trains?" Yes, actually, I do. I live near a train track, and I've always had liked to model trains. And last summer, we actually went out and rode mini trains. I'm not really sure the correct name for what they were, but basically, they were the little trains you sit on. There's no seat belts. There's no top. It's just like train cars. I forget the name of the group, but it was like Live Steamers or something like that. Like it was a group, basically mini trains, and we rode that. That was pretty cool. If I had money, I'd probably have a model train yard, or if I had time and money, I'd probably have a model train set in the basement here, or if I had a lot of money, I would have an outdoor train set that you could actually ride, because that would be fun. David says, when he grew up in Brooklyn, I would have been beyond happy being called a nerd or geek. I can imagine. Welcome in. Did I miss anybody else? Hence your yeah. I mean, yeah. I can. I mean, these days. I've been called one of those two things. Not the first one, not the second one. Uh, I don't. Oh boy, Kurt, I don't remember. You could tell me. I forget when exactly your thing is. I don't. Are you on the big reveal, or are you on something like a different stage? I forget which one you said. Sorry, my memory is like not what it used to be. Yeah, and those are kind of softball names, but I'm sure we've all been there and done that before. If you're here, chances are you've been called a name. So Anyway, we're caught up. So tonight I wanted to just kind of, I guess, give you a recap, if you will. I think most of you were here on Friday, um, when we migrated the network live with Jeremy as the producer slash host. That went well. It was done in about 90 minutes, which was actually kind of shocking that it was done that quickly. Then I spent not most of Saturday, but I spent a part of it on Saturday kind of just tweaking things now that it was in place. Um, and I have a good list of pros and cons regarding Grandstream right now. So, um, the Black Magic stream is before NAB. Okay. That's right, because NAB doesn't start on Friday. Grish said he liked Friday's stream. Yeah, that's true. Um, yes, Jeremy was awesome to work with, and I think it made that stream a lot better than just me doing it by myself. I do apologize for the audio. I went back and listened to it. I had no idea it was that bad. I figured it wasn't the best, but we made it through it, and that's what matters. So, anyway, like I said, let's kind of recap some of my Grandstream thoughts after having used it for a little bit, and then we're going to get into LibreNMS, because I've always wanted an SNMP server and to play around with that, because everybody seems to love that these days. And so I finally bit the bullet and tried it. And of course, I tried it the hard way, doing it yourself. That didn't work. I tried the script way. That didn't work either. So eventually I just did Docker, and of course that worked right away. So yay for Docker. Yeah, no, the audio was not good. I mean, my standards are, I guess, higher than that. So I would say the audio was not good. I mean, um, everything sounded fine on my end, of course. Jeremy sounded great. We didn't actually do a test record or a test stream beforehand. We did just a talk back, and obviously everything worked. But I did not realize that was as bad as it was, and there was that clicking noise in the background, whatever that hell that was. um, I have a different wireless headset that I might have been able to use had I known. Um, like I have a different one that I could have used here, or I could have brought one home or whatever it was. I guess I just didn't realize how bad it was. So, you know, I apologize, but I mean, you guys all seem to enjoy it. We got through it. That's what matters. Yeah, Docker images. I mean, still not the biggest fan of Docker, but I mean, obviously uh, it definitely works. Um, but I guess I don't really know enough, or I'm not used to it enough to be comfortable with it with like mission critical data. But that's just me probably not being used to it. So Joe got flack. Yeah, I mean, uh, Joe once said you have a radio voice. Was that literally true on Friday? No. I don't know. I didn't like the way it sounded in that ting ting, or I'm not even sure how to describe that sound that was in the background. um, but I mean, it is what it is. The show went on. It's actually gotten. I don't know if I would say good views on my channel, but I mean it wasn't horrible. uh, as of right now, it has 118 views. That's higher than the unboxing stream, the cleaning up the home lab. I mean, it's better than most of my previous streams for the last month. So I would say that's awesome. And just because I haven't done an actual update in a while on my stats, We are at 1,901 subscriber now, so we've crossed the 1,900 subscriber mark, which is awesome. Gotten several streams that have done pretty well. One has over 2,000 views now, which is good. My watch hours are at 2,310, so that's not the highest mark by far, but the channel in the last 28 days has had 12,000 views and almost double the watch hours over previous time periods. So, or more than usual, I guess is what it calls it. So I think we're making some progress. Obviously, streaming regularly on Tuesday nights, or just streaming in general, helps. And of course, YouTube is no longer penalizing people for streaming. At least that's what I've heard. So, yeah, that all together, and I think the channel's moving forward. At one point, I was like 28 watch hours away from being monetized, or 20. It was something like that. It was crazy how close I was, and then just plummeted. But whatever. Nonetheless, we are moving forward. So, Grish says, honestly, I just listen and enjoy it. No, I mean that's the whole point. Is you guys is just to create content people are going to enjoy, and to create a little bit of community, have a little fun, and so Alonzo's here. Welcome in. How is the work trailer? If that's a reference to the trailer that we almost built, the key word is we almost built it, and so we no longer use. At work, we never did the trailer. I kept pushing for one. We never did it. At the university, they've abandoned their trailer, basically. They still have it for baseball games, but they've built a control room now and no longer use the trailer because it was cold in the trailer, which I understand. It often was really cold in the trailer, and being connected or being in the building obviously gives you more room, gives you warmth, gives you a permanent install where you don't have to hook up anything. So, hopefully that answers your. Oh, excuse me. Hopefully that answers your question there, Keith. Jeremy says the stream got 113 views on his channel. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really the intention behind buying Grandstream was to get more views and to use a popular name in YouTube these days, but it's definitely not hurting. No, we are at 1080p still. 1080p 59.94 technically speaking, which is the broadcast standard. So we are at 1080p essentially 60. It was. I had no idea what you guys were referencing, and when I first played back the stream on my phone, I almost couldn't hear it. Like, I didn't even notice it. And then I forget who it was in chat or Signal, was like, no, it's there. And I'm like, okay, let me put it on my big screen TV. And then I heard it like instantly. It was like, holy crap, there was definitely noise there. What that was, I have no idea. I think it's just weird. It's it's just a joke. My wife says that I have a face for radio. I almost cut. I don't know why I just thought of this. I almost cut a radio commercial. I think I voiced it. They didn't use it. Back when I was like in high school, I did a shadow day. Maybe it was junior high. I think it was junior high. I did a shadow day at a radio station, and they actually had me cut one of their commercials, like for Christmas time. I don't think it ever aired, but I was asked to use my voice for a commercial. That's okay, Keith. No big deal. Thanks for the question. Yes, we are still 1080p, using my very non-traditional setup, I guess you will. But it still works, and with the new fiber internet, it doesn't kill my internet connection. It's possible. I don't know what that was. I didn't hear it in my ears, and when I don't hear it when I listen to music, like through those earbuds when I mow the yard or do whatever. So I'm not quite sure what it was. Alrighty, so let's just kind of jump into Grandstream and what I like and what I don't like, because there's a mixture of both. So let me log in. What I like so far, and this is just so you know, this is my topology. I have the GCC feeding the core switch, which I call the core switch, which is the 7813P. It feeds what I now call the YouTube switch, which is to my left here. This access point is just temporarily off of this one. I put the garage switch in, which I'm called, was I had before is called bottom. Garage is now in place above the core switch, just temporarily. So it's plugged in. It's on the network. I could use it, but right now it's not being used for anything. And then there's the access point that comes off of the core switch, and so that's my topology. One thing I do not like so far is I do not like this traffic analysis. I think this is kind of weird how it doesn't show you anything, but then it shows you the live stuff, but it's not very granular. It just kind of shows me whatever, and this makes no sense right now because I'm pushing up like 20 megs for my 1080p stream, and this is not showing up here. So I don't know, like this does not show correct upload because I'm pushing 20 megs out. So this graph to me makes no sense. And this isn't megabytes, this is megabits. So, I mean, oops. Didn't realize I did that, but yeah, I mean, like right now, I'm transmitting a whole bunch. So I don't know what, not quite sure what that's all about. I do like some of this historical information, though. I just wish it doesn't seem to be as accurate as I would think it should be. But technically, nice to have. But yeah. So the WireGuard, which I don't know if I can show you that or not, because I think it would show my stuff. I can't, whatever. The one thing I do like is the GeoIP filtering is crazy easy to set up and works like a champ. Like it's thing, I turn the security on and instantly, boom, boom, boom. I mean, the list just filled up and of things it's blocking. This was a lot easier to set up in Grandstream than PFSense was. I mean, this was just stupid easy to set up. I did turn on the firewall service for all the advanced protections. It's scanning files, I guess. It's not finding anything. I didn't think there would be. I don't do anything crazy on the network. But so in terms of the firewall itself, I love the GeoIP security feature. That's nice. In terms of the networking, I'm not going to go into it because I don't know what I can and can't show underneath there. But this WireGuard VPN was crazy easy to set up. I mean, you made the server, you hit add client, you enter the IP address, you scan the QR code, it's done. it added the firewall rules. It was excellent. I think the firewall WireGuard integration is nice. Tony said he had an issue with his when he was doing his dual LAN. That sounds like an outlier. I had an outlier issue, so I'm, the all VLANs thing. So take it for what it's worth. But I mean, the WireGuard was easy to set up. It was really easy to set up. I mean, it was a lot easier than pfSense. So you got good WireGuard, you got good GeoIP. In terms of the access points, they were easy to set up. Switch management, I think, is okay. It's not. It could use some work. And again, here, like with this traffic graph stuff, like it doesn't show that I'm pushing very much. I am pushing this. I do kind of like this, some of this, this top client type thing where, it kind of shows you who's talking the most. This is the living room Roku. So, it's been nice to kind of see what's talking on there. But so again, that's but the one thing I will say that I just don't get, and I think I could show this. Maybe not. No, I think I can. Is this these firewall rules, I think, are just, well, let me put it this way. I followed Tony's video and Willie Howe's video, and I literally followed their firewall rules about guest and IoT network isolation, and I could still get through. I could ping, I could hit the web address, it worked. So I don't know why when I followed their videos that my rules don't work the same way their rules do. Their videos are older, so maybe they changed something, but having walked through the documentation, I didn't see anything that would explain that. I was able to create isolated VLANs by turning them off, essentially. Or let me go. I can show you this one. Network settings, LAN. So underneath the IoT network, I basically turned off, all the VLANs and said that this VLAN can only talk to the fiber WAN, and then I had an isolated network instantly. Nothing else. I didn't need to do anything else. It just worked. So, in terms of creating isolated VLANs, again, Grandstream makes that easier than Netgate does or pfSense. But as a power user, I like the firewall in a Netgate appliance or pfSense way more than I do the Grandstream firewall because, well, it kind of just worked. Like in terms of like the Netgate just kind of worked when I put rules in because by default it's deny all as opposed to Grandstream, which was kind of by default allow all. And I think that's not exactly the way to go do for security. And so therefore I like it doesn't work until you make it work versus, yeah, sure, let it go and be secured later. So if I had to put if the firewall, on a basically a choice, I had to say, the firewall at this point is a con, not a pro. But like I said, the WireGuard the GeoIP is good. The switch management overall looks good. It just doesn't seem to follow through with the whole VLANs thing. making my own port profiles fixed that issue, and I haven't had an issue since. And I can change things the way I want to change them, and they work. I will say that the signal strength is way better on these access points. So let's just go back to the chat for a second. I see it kind of scrolling through. Bob says the noise was aliens or he bugged my basement. Both are possible. It was the DoorDash delivery. That definitely was one of the highlights for sure of my stream. Most important thing, how is the wife approval factor? So far, so good. She came home and she was like, why is there Wi-Fi 6 on my phone? Or this was today. And I'm like, because we actually have Wi-Fi 6 now. So, that's a good thing. If it's hardware accelerated, that traffic doesn't show up in graphic. Well, I would think the bandwidth graphs, they show up no matter what. But there are certain graphs that do not show up if you have hardware acceleration on. So, it could be that related. I don't know. 6 likes. Please click the like button. Yes, the PoE is actually working great, and that's a good point. So last week, I think it was last week, Bob shared this device, which is a PoE to barrel, converter, and this thing is absolutely great. I love this thing. I bought it. So I didn't buy it, I don't think, until Friday night, and it arrived Saturday afternoon. So this PoE splitter that Bob recommended is absolutely awesome. It does, in fact, power my phone. Is it 9:30? Wow, it is already. Okay. This is exactly what I was looking for, and I forgot to make an Amazon affiliate link, but I will do that because I think you all should get one of these. So yeah, in terms of like just switching and PoE in general, Eric, these switches have been great. I mean, the PoE works. The switches have been working. They boot up fairly quick. I'm happy with how fast they boot up versus the old switches, which were atrocious on how long they took to boot. So, in terms of the access points and the switching, I think Grandstream knocked it out of the park. I think their GCC's got a couple issues. Their firewall's got a couple issues. But overall, I'm very happy with the purchase and whatnot, and things are working in a way that I like. I will say that I do kind of miss, not this particular device, but I kind of do miss pfSense in a way. So is it only shown? Oh, that's a good question. Let me find out that for a fact. Let me go back there for a second. That's a good question, Joe. I kind of went off the page. So if no, it still does not show. It still does not show 20 megs. It only shows 11. Well, I guess that makes more sense, though. Yeah, that would probably be 12. Well, no, you're right. It's not 20. I was thinking something else. It is 12. So it is showing, I guess, accurate. I was just on the low bit rate, like you were saying. So yeah, you're right. It does show. It is not as granular, though. That is still true. It is not as granular as pfSense would show you. Its pulling is every like 5 or 10 seconds, so it's not as accurate, I guess, if you will. Um, but no, that's a good catch. You are right. I really should just turn variable bitrate off. I don't know why I'm doing variable bitrate, but I should turn that off. But you're right. That's a good catch. Um, CWS Pod, welcome in. I think you're new here, so welcome in. Uh, so yes, you and Joe were exactly right. So, um, yep, no, deny all should be the norm, should be the rule, not the exception. Yeah, no, you could easily, and this is what I was dealing with on Saturday, was like, I was just trying to make the IoT network go out the internet only, and um, using the videos Willie and Tony had made, but I could still on my phone, like from the wireless network, the IoT wireless network, I could hit devices on my network. I could ping things, and I'm like, I could do trace routes to them, and I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, and I just could not get it to not work. Um, in PF sense, that was like 2 clicks, and it worked. And there is no, in the firewall rules for Grandstream, there is no, what do you call it? It's like reverse. It's like everything but, or everything except this. I forget what it's called, but um, yeah, in inverse, I guess is what they call it. But in PF sense, like it's, the inverse. You could just say everything but this, or everything, and it was just nice. Um, yeah, inverse matching. I got there eventually. Um, so let me go back. Like I said, you guys are flying through the chat real quick. So AP strength, it's a nice booth. Yes, no, like I said, I definitely, even with this one unplugged, which it mostly is because it's over here in the fly pack. Um, yeah, I mean, it's so much better Wi-Fi coverage, so much stronger. Um, so this is, I don't know why I don't need this right here, but this outputs barrel jack 5 volts. Yeah, so this outputs 5 volts at, looks like maybe up to 2 amps, and so it splits it out. And the funny thing is I actually made. Hold on, I'll be right back. So this is modern day power over Ethernet. This is early 2000s power over Ethernet. And I mean, like, this might even be 99 or 2000. And I had 2 of them. I made these from, I'm pretty sure this was Radio Shack. And basically, um, this was designed because I had a Linksys oh my god, I can't remember what, I forget what it's, WRTG, no, TRG 54. God, what was that? Everyone he had one. Um, it was the blue Linksys box that everybody had. 54G, WRT 54G. Yes, okay. Yeah, WRT 54G. So I had one of those, and I had envisioned and basically, because Wi-Fi was new, it was fun those days. You can go on the internet and find like whole Wi-Fi systems for your neighborhood because nobody had Wi-Fi or nobody had high-speed internet, and so I had several friends down the street from me that we had like theorized about like sending Wi-Fi from my house to their house so we could play games together, type of thing. And so I actually built these two injectors using like project boxes, and you could plug Ethernet in here, and then the red outputs were the PoE. So you could put power in the back, put Ethernet here, and then you would get two PoE power outputs. And I was going to run power up my parents' TV antenna to one of these, where it would take the power off of the it would come, basically you could bring power in. I forget why there are two reds, because it was basically power in and then power out. I forget. And then you could power the WRT 54G off of this. So, and then that was all going to sit, like this was going to sit in a project box, like up the tower, have like a big antenna. We had visions, if you will, of sending that signal to my friend's house 1.5 miles, or I guess it was more than that, 5 miles, probably something like that. Of course, that was never going to work. But, when you're 16, 17 years old and you don't know much better, you just think it's going to work that way. And of course it didn't, but we did in fact build the project boxes, and we had this all set up, and I never got rid of these because I just thought they were cool. And I've never used them since. Like, we never actually did that system. We never built it, but I mean, we had the foundation going, and probably ran into issues buying the antennas or something like that. So, yeah, so this is the modern version of this. But yes, to answer your question, Grish, I will signal you this later, and I will give you an Amazon affiliate link so you can buy one and help support the channel. And I'm sorry I missed a whole bunch of chats. Let me go back to the top. So Grish wants 2 of them. Still better than Cisco. I mean, the Cisco stuff was good, and I'm not going to knock Cisco in terms of what they can do. I just, for me, that switch was loud as hell, and none of it was PoE. And I like the idea of having PoE, especially when you're going to be adding, potentially phones or security cameras or access points. Like the idea of just having a PoE system and something that was at least 9 years or newer was the driving force behind that. Yeah, no, it's not passive PoE. It's just DC. And this one is only 5 volts, not 24 volts. So this works perfectly for the Grandstream phones because they require 5 volts and 800 milliamps, and this thing will do over 2 amps or up to 2 amps. Yeah, passive PoE is its own animal. That was what I don't know where it went. That is what my old access point from Ubiquiti uses, and I honestly at this point think that might find a home at a transmitter site because I currently take this in my bag and use the GLI net to create wireless out there when I need it. And I'd rather not have to take this thing and plug this thing every single time. So I think that access point may find a new life in a transmitter site and give me Wi-Fi access because there's none of it out there, and cell phone coverage is not very good. So it'd be nice to have, you know, the ability to make calls when you're out there. So Alonzo Smith asked Joe a question. CWS Pod. Yep, thank you. Good to be here. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. I stream. I don't know how I stream every Tuesday night or most Tuesday nights, and sometimes on different days depending on my schedule. But so glad you're here. Yeah, Joe has the 6100, which is awfully nice. I would definitely I'd love to have that one. Unify 24 and 16. Yeah. UDM Pro Max. That's not their newest one, is it? That's like the last new one. So rule order is interesting because no, I don't. I don't think so. I think Tony and Willie talked about that the order does matter. It's first is the thing. But when I watched your videos, it wasn't clicking with me that why it worked the way they were doing it. So maybe? No, I don't think it does. I think it's the first match wins. But the rules just were not working the way that they should work, or at least Tony and Willie made it looked like it worked. So, yeah, I mean, I really am disappointed in the firewall rules. It works for what I need because most of my VLANs are full access, so I don't really care to have separation by that. I just VLAN them out because I want to, basically, and it makes some sense logically in my head. And then I could, in theory, enforce bandwidth policies and whatnot. But the biggest thing was, and for frustrating thing for me, and I can't show it to you right now, but was they're restricting a firewall rule based on a source address, because I want to open up ports, but I do not want them open to the whole internet. I want them open up to a subset of like 5 addresses. You can do that. It's called dynamic. What's it called? Dynamic NAT. I forget the exact name that they use. And again, I can't show it to you, but I can explain it to you. So under firewall policies, there's what they call advanced NAT, and then there's dynamic NAT, or destination NAT, sorry. And oh yeah, I can't show you this. Okay. So under advanced NAT, there's destination NAT, and basically, I can't go into this rule, but basically, I have a Nextcloud forward that if it comes in on the source group, meaning it comes in on the WAN, it goes to my server's VLAN and my server address, but this rule is written so that only one IP address can access it. Under pfSense, this one rule could serve all 5 addresses that I want this open to. I would have to create this rule essentially 5 times, and I think it would break something. So I haven't tried to do that yet. So I was able to accomplish what I wanted, which was basically certain IP address allow in, everybody else deny. But it wasn't as straightforward, and it's definitely not as clean as pfSense, because those aliases are super powerful. I would even take a comma separated list in Grandstream. That would work too. I'm not saying it has to be alias or nothing. I'm saying the ability to have more than one address in a firewall rule would be very, very helpful. um, yeah, so we're on the. Oh wow. Uh, so yeah, so firewall. Please stand by. That was the Linksys conversation. Um, yeah, never was a wisp, but I entertained the idea of doing it. Yeah, but I mean, yes, the Pringles Cantina. So, funny story, and I know I'm falling way behind on chat, but funny story. So at the university, because I had in high school I was doing this and kind of thing and playing around with that. In college, I started there, and we had a wireless video system which we called uh, Video Link or Video Ship Video. Maybe it was. I forget what the hell it was called. Video. It was called Live Link. Oh my god! Wow. It was called Live Link. It had. That's what we called it. I'm not sure what the actual product name was, but it was a 2.4 gigahertz wireless video system, and it had a transmitter, and it had five diversity receiving antenna feeds. And so on the top of the tallest building on campus, we put this system in, and we had all five panels pointing in different directions. And it would bring in the system, and then it would send out this video feed down whatever it was, 13 stories, or I forget what it was, and then across the street or across the sidewalk to our building. Hold on a second. Sorry. And this is one reason why I understand when Jeremy's like, I wish I had a guest more often, because just simply talking for 40 minutes straight, sometimes that happens. Anyway, so this 2.4 gigahertz wireless system was a panel-based system. It had five antennas. It would bring in the best feed and then send it down to our control room. Well, we put the system in place, and we're like, it doesn't work very good. I mean, it kind of works, but not as good as it could. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this 2.4? Like, isn't this one of those things they could just use a Pringles can for? And the engineer at the time, Jim, he was like, yeah, you want to build one? And I'm like, yes, I do. So as a project, we built a Pringles cantina, and we were like, this is going to be awesome. So we go test this thing, and this might explain some things. But we go out in the front lawn to test it, and we just turn it on. We're not even aimed. I mean, it's sitting on the ground. And I go on the two-way radio, I'm like, okay, it looks great. And they're like, we're not even set up yet. I go, yeah, you are. It works great. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, best signal ever. I mean, it looks great. And they're like, well, we're not even aimed. It's still on the ground. So our cantina worked a little too well, because we literally had it on the ground, and it was working better than the antenna that came with the unit. So we then, of course, went live across the street at the courthouse. I have a picture of me from back then, running a live shot with this unit and doing a real live shot. It was awesome. I mean, when you're in college and you can do real live shots, that's pretty cool. And so then we wanted to see how far it would go, and we went all the way across campus, and it's not a small campus. And so we went all the way across campus to the baseball field, and we went up in the press box to get as high as we possibly could and set up the tripod and aimed it back to the receive point, and we did a live shot from all the way across campus using 2.4 gigahertz wireless. Mind you, it was like 2002, and 2.4 gigahertz wireless wasn't exactly everywhere. I mean, it was out there, but it wasn't as prevalent or as used as it is today. But we did a live shot all the way across campus, which was insane. And we were so happy. And then ESPN came to town one day, and we did a live shot from like in front of their stage, like their big setup. And we just thought we were cool because like here we are, the college station being live in front of ESPN when they're bringing in their like big production trucks and their satellite trucks and whatnot, and we're just out there with this little antenna like, look at us go live. It was kind of funny. But I mean, but yeah, that cantina. And then literally like my senior year of college, we like took the summer off. Of course, summers are usually off in college. We took the summer off, we came back, and we went to go use it, and nobody knew where it was. Like the tripod we used, the tripod we used to like as the antenna, like because we basically strapped the cantina. I don't have a good way onto the tripod arm, and then that's how it would like we could aim it, whatever. And the cantina was gone. We don't know where the antenna is. Everything else was there. Everything else, like all the equipment was there, but we couldn't find the damn antenna. And due to a couple other issues that were happening at the time, we just kind of scrapped the idea of going live again. And that organization has never done a live shot since that I'm aware of. Could be wrong, but I do not think they've done a live shot since. And that was 19 years ago. So that's my cantina story. So thanks, Nils, for bringing that up and reliving some memories. Oh boy, that was that goes back. So yeah, so Nils says with the cantina, or that Eric says that. Grish says you gladly support. I'm guessing you mean the Amazon affiliate link. I'll send you that stuff when I'm done. Yeah, back in the day, there were all kinds of stuff. There were like wireless organizations that would tell you how to like hack the firmware and get more power out of the thing, or what antennas worked best, and you could, put them in a project box. It was cool. MikroTik uses passive PoE? Ooh. Yeah, that's... Ew. Yeah, I could understand how you would hate that, because I hated that access point wherever the hell I put it. We the community. Yeah, there's a pretty good group of channels that people all just kind of follow along. The UDM Pro Max has two 10 gigabit capable ports, and the UGC Fiber has three. And the fiber one is the new one out that you can't get, right? That's, I think. Yep, there's some more of the channels we follow, or most of us follow. The 6100 is way overkill. Yeah, I remember your goals with that first studio. I mean, yeah, it probably is. It's definitely overkill for your home network, that's for sure. Yes, because I was playing around from Friday's stream. I don't know if you probably didn't notice, but I took my light that's over here and put it in the doorway of the storage room, and because the lighting is different in there, I changed the color temperature on the thing and made it match in there, and I don't think I did a very good job. Although it doesn't look horrible, but I didn't do the best job getting the color temperature set back to the way it was. I may or may not have been involved in building a cantina back in my college days. Oh yeah, no, I so once we had the cantina working, I remember we two friends of mine and I went and we hopped in my car, and we used the PCMI, PC, whatever you call cards. I forget how you, yeah, PCMCI, yeah, those cards. We hooked up the cantina to that and used some sort of war driving tool. I forget what it was called. Um, I don't remember now. And we drove around and did like the loop around the city on the interstate, and we came back with, I mean, a huge list of Wi-Fi hotspots, or people's houses we found. And I remember being shocked at how many were just open. Hold on, sorry about that. I remember just being, there was a whole bunch of them that were open, and we were just shocked at how they were open. Um, but I guess this was early cable modem days. Like, people were just getting cable modems. People were thinking, we're Wi-Fi everything. Nobody thought about security at the time. At least most people didn't. Um, so yeah, I remember doing that. We went more driving with the cantina, and boy did that thing work. And we had a list for a while. I don't know where that list is. It's probably long gone. But we had a list of like all the names, and we sorted them by like, we picked out like our favorite ones. Like FBI van or whatever. Some of the funny ones. We had a list of those for a while. Live Link's a little less lively. Yep. Cantina of the Rescue. Yeah, in 2002, the 2.4 was nothing like it is now. If they did, I would have laughed. I would have. I mean, 2002 me probably would have either laughed hysterically or been scared as hell. Um, Now I would have just been like, sorry, I didn't know what you were doing. But back then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally don't know what I'm doing. So, I could have claimed ignorance and been truthful. Um, but yeah, it was. I still want to know what happened to it. Like, who took the damn Pringles can? And it didn't look like a Pringles can. I mean, we had, you know, um, painted it black, and it was attached with like, it wasn't just wire ties, but it was like, it was attached to the armband or the tripod arm. Um, it had a nice clear plastic cover with metal in the middle, and like the spacers. I mean, it was really well made. I mean, for being a homemade thing in the shop in like a course of like 2 hours, it looked great. There's no way I could find pictures of that. I'm just gonna take a peruse through my Nextcloud server and just happen to see if there are pictures. I can't imagine there is. There are, yeah. But if I could find one, I would share it. Um, Let me see. It would be under this air folder. I am not seeing it anywhere. Ooh, maybe. Nope. Nope. I thought I was in that folder. Wow, these are the photo names are MVC. I think that was the old picture thing with the floppy disk. I think there was a digital camera that put it on floppies. Oh boy. Oh gosh, that's an old picture of me. Holy crap. I don't look too different. Here, I'll share this with you since you guys can't see what I'm doing. I might as well share it with you. Let's do 3. Hold on. Please hold while I download the picture and load it in the thing. Um, Here's a picture of me in college. Working on, I think we were running new feeds to the TVs so the hallway could like get a live feed. So that's me from college. I don't look too different, I guess. But yeah, no, I can't find the cantina. I can't find the live link photos. Not even sure who the hell that dude is in the photo. Hmm, interesting. I took some really weird photos. Random stuff makes no sense to me. Oh, this is even an older picture of me. Holy crap. What year was this? Oh, here we're installing those pictures. Oh, this is cool. Okay, hold on a second. Um, so I didn't find the cantina, but I found pictures of us installing the receive antennas. Um, so this is me in, I don't know, 2000 and whatever. And that was the engineer, Chuck. And he was like pushing 80 into his 80s. I forget how old he was. And here we are installing. You can see the panels. I have my hand is on one, and then his hand is on the other one. And we're installing those panel antennas for the live link. And we're on the roof of a like 13 or 14 story building. There was no edge. There was no railing like there should have been. Um, this area is not like this isn't the edge. This is like a higher area in the center of the roof. So somebody is down on the lower level taking this photo. But yeah, that's me from like 2002 installing that system. Oops, wrong one. Man, those photos are so bad. Like, so bad. Camera technology's come a long way. Holy crap. Um, wow. Anyway, yeah, I definitely don't have those pictures, so, of what I want to show you. Um, yeah, if I could find that, oops, if I could find that photo, it'd be great. Um, Green tint. Is it? Yeah, I guess it is a little green. I did white balance. I did. I think I'm pretty sure I white balanced the camera. Um, yeah, just wrong color temperature. Yep, that's yep. uh, yeah, I forgot those cards what they were called too. A college friend of mine performed a prank in one of the frat houses on campus. I can't say any more than that. The default passwords are MFR. Oh boy. You know, that's who knows. I maybe. um, yeah, I mean it was still find it interesting that it just disappeared. I know somebody that would war drive and they wrote a script that would found an open Wi-Fi and it had default passwords. Ooh, was this somebody named Bob? Mavica, yes, Sony Mavica. Holy crap! Yeah, yep, with the 1.44 megabyte floppy. um, we hadn't discovered the selfie yet. Chuck used to have a FCC license and worked overnights, I believe, as the transmitter engineer for the local PBS affiliate when you had to staff the transmitter site 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Uh, Chuck went back a ways. um, and by that I mean Marconi Telegraph. Yeah, he definitely saw a lot. I mean, I think they were. I don't know, but I'm not a fashion person, so I probably could commit multiple fashion faux pas. um, who's texting me? Um, anyway, so the one thing I did want to show is LibreNMS. And sorry, it's taken an hour and 10 minutes to get into this, but I did want to show this briefly because I think it's pretty cool. So glad I got it working on a Docker. Like I said, I was tried the other ways and didn't work. Oh, this also reminds me. Oops. Um, the other thing I hate about Grandstream is everything is now a dot LAN. You can't have it like. So I used to have, Docker .303north.com or pfsense dot 303north.com. Anything I handed out from the DHCP server would get a fully qualified domain name by default, which means that I could spin up a new server and then access it and know exactly what the name was called. Well, now Grandstream only does .lan apparently, or only gives out a .lan, or people are assuming .lan. I'm not sure exactly yet. I haven't dug into it because some things seem to get the .lan and some things don't. But so now everything is .lan, like it's Docker.lan, and of course all my bookmarks and all my stuff was wrote for the old stuff. It's saved for the old stuff, so um, kind of just frustrating that I can't specify a domain to give out. Um, so slight other issue. Because so now you'll see this is Docker.lan, which I am not a big fan of, but hey, whatever. So this is LibreNMS. If you haven't seen it before, I've seen it before in the past, but I hadn't seen it in a while. But basically, it's an SNMP monitoring tool, and I spent a little bit of time, and I actually had it. I specified my core switch as a device, and I'm able to get into my core switch, and this brings up all kinds of statistics, information. Obviously, I haven't had it running very long, but you could see, it's pulling the processor, it's pulling traffic, it's pulling memory. And sorry, these graphs are weird. Recent events, which I thought is kind of interesting. It could show you all kinds of different stuff, which I'm not even sure what this all is, but this is pulling a whole bunch of information out of these switches, which I think is interesting. And all I had to do was point it to this address and make sure that SNMP was enabled and that it was detailed versus basic. I mean, this will be interesting to see over time, kind of how well this fills out, which I think is interesting. And the basic does not give you this traffic information, but when you go to advanced polling, it does. And so I think this is kind of interesting. It shows you the ports, which ones are on and off which is kind of cool. This is the uplink to the GCC. So this is showing you this interface. It has a real time graph, which is showing you this, which this is, to me, seems better than the the GCC one. A little bit more accurate, not as averaged out, if you will, because I think by default it would show you this one. This is what the GCC would show you, basically on a 5-second interval. And this allows you to go down to, 1 second. So I think that's pretty cool. Could show you, obviously, VLANs and what is part of each VLAN. So maybe not the prettiest of interface, but nonetheless, I think it is pretty cool to be able to have a different way of viewing some of this stuff. Obviously, you could go view logs, and like I said, and my thought is making basically a custom dashboard that would allow you to view, some of this information, kind of on a different dashboard. And I have several devices that I think I could incorporate into a nice dashboard like this. I mean, ideally, Grafana and all that stuff looks great in those dashboard programs, but I find those things to just be so hard to set up. I've tried in the past. They don't work, at least for me. This was really easy to get running with Docker and point to the device, and I just added the one switch, but I could add all my devices except for the GCC, because the GCC doesn't support SNMP apparently. But the switches and I think the access points do. But I also have ideas for other equipment, not necessarily in my house, but at the university, that I would love to tie into this dashboard system and be able to monitor stuff. So I just wanted to show you that it is in fact possible to tie your Grandstream in with this logging program, or this, LibreNMS tool, and get some nice dashboards that maybe the GCC and other ones don't show you. So yeah, any questions about this? I know it's not a huge thing, but I wanted to share it nonetheless because it did finally work for me. It had to be Docker image, which I, again, whatever. but I did make it work, and it is talking, so I guess that's the ultimate goal. Jeremy says, it's okay. I've been guilty of wearing jorts once upon a time. No, I did not ward drive and run a script. I would have manually updated its firmware. Yeah, I mean, I wish you could assign an actual domain. That'd be helpful. Can Grandstream do DAOH or secure DNS? That's a good question. I do not recall. I didn't try. Now you're gonna make me look through some settings. I don't see it in here. There's port WAN. I am not seeing where you could do that. No. That is a good... That's something to bring up. I did not think about that. But no, you... At least I'm not finding it. No, I don't see anywhere in here where it can do that. It does do SSL proxy, which I think is interesting that it does it in the router itself. Yeah, I don't see... It might. I just don't see it. But I do know it does SSL proxying, and Tony did a video on that. So go check out Quick Tech Solutions, because he did a whole video on it. But I am not seeing anywhere where you could do DOH or secure DNS. You can specify a DNS server to use. I mean, you could tell it to go use whatever, but as being the DOH server, it doesn't appear like it does that. And yes, I actually did think about spinning up Pi-hole maybe a better way to do DNS DHCP on this network, given how limited the GCC is. So this is a good question. If money wasn't on the table, would you still go Grandstream, or would you have done something different? If money was no object, I probably would have went with a PF Sense firewall and a modern Cisco switch with PoE, or I would have went with what's the other switch company? The high-end one, I think it starts with the A, whatever. But obviously that's overkill for home network. If money was not a factor, but for the home network, I mean, probably would have went all Unify, but I would have had to buy more things. But I am happy with the Grandstream switches and access points. I just am not happy with their firewall yet. Unify wasn't there either for a long time. So I am happy with the Grandstream switches and the firewall or the access points. Those are solid. I'd recommend those again. If you wanted a basic network, I'd recommend the GCC. For what I want to do, the GCC is probably not good enough, to be honest, at this point. I have more to learn, so I'm not going to make a final decision on that yet. If I ever swap one out, if I ever swap my firewall out to go back to this, that'll be the obvious giveaway that I've made a decision. So I'm going to give it time. I'm going to keep playing around with it and learning how to use it. It could be that I'm using it wrong. I don't think so, but it could be. But I also don't necessarily need the advanced firewalls that I had in pfSense. I kind of overcomplicated my network a little bit. That may have been part of the reasons I was having issues. I'm freely going to admit that was a possible scenario where I had just done something too far. I know at one point I had tried to do some DNS filtering and some traffic stuff, and it kind of broke everything, and then I didn't have DNS for a second. So I don't know. I think pfSense firewall and a Xeon. Yeah, pfSense firewall and a Xeon is probably a little too much. That's overkill. But Arista, yes, Nils, that's the one I'm thinking of. Arista is what's used in 2110 video over IP networks. Arista is very common in those networks. And I'm pretty sure it's because, if I remember correctly, I saw one in a truck one time, and it's got a PTP clock reference on the front. Like, you can literally plug in the PTP clock right to the front of the switch, or the back of the switch. Well, I forget exactly how it was mounted, but yeah, if money was no object, I'd probably go get an Arista switch. But those are not cheap, so I'm not going to own one of those anytime soon. But yes, so to answer your question, I'm like half there. I think I recommend Grandstream for certain things. I would say, depending upon your use case, the GCC may or may not be what you want. It does work, obviously, and it does allow me to do VLANs like I want. The inter-VLAN routing or firewall is not very good right now. Like I said, it does take time to get used to some of the stuff. I did get it to work. But yeah, so one thing I did want to throw out there, and this is shocking, is that my fiber provider will give me multiple addresses if I plug in multiple routers to the GPON device. So I, as a test proof of concept the other day, plugged the Unify Flex Mini into my GPON device, and then I plugged the GCC into port 1, and I plugged the old network router into port 2, and both got public IP addresses, and both were working. So the idea has not left my head since then of running essentially two different networks. Having a switch in front of my GCC, and then splitting that off to like a device like this, and then taking that access point and plugging it into this, and then I could, in theory, have my two networks, if you will, one and two, be completely separated except for the internet connection, which means I could play around with the GCC, and if I were to screw it up or whatever it is, I could fall back to the other wireless network, or I could just have Haley go off the one wireless network, and then I could just have the rest of it for testing. So that little bit of information the other day when I discovered that was pretty cool, and I have some ideas. So more to come. I'm not sure how that's going to break down entirely. I also was thinking about making the GCC kind of be dumb and just basically do a flat network, and then for like the house network, and then doing a virtual PF sense and using it more like a router and having it control access to the other VLANs. So I would still have PF sense in my network. It would be more of a virtual machine in front of my VLANs so that I could still do advanced things. But because it would be in front or behind the GCC, the house network and the house Wi-Fi would work as regular, normal. And then if I screwed up anything, it would only be the other VLANs, which Haley would not be using. So that kind of idea, entertainment, I kind of had that idea too, where it's like, okay, I could still do a basic network and then just kind of make my lab, if you will, like a subsection, either on a completely separate network or as a subset of the main network. But like I said, by being separate, if I screw it up, it wouldn't impact her. So yes, Arista, thank you guys for that. PF Sense on an i5 is overkill. After a few months, an intense config. Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm hoping that they do some big firmware updates and improve their firewalls, because it'd be helpful. I would doubt that too, but I don't know. Yeah, Bob gets into that CPU stuff and the hardware specs a lot more than I do. It would work better in virtualization. I did not do a simultaneous speed test. That is a good question, though. I did not do that. No, now I kind of I'm gonna have to go test that out, because now I'm yeah, that's what I figured was the case, was that the speed was done at the GPON level, because, I mean, no lie, that is probably two of these Flex Minis. It's definitely bigger than this thing. It's quite it's actually about the size of a small Stream Deck, if not bigger. Actually, it's bigger than that. So, I mean, that thing is quite large. So I think there's definitely a lot going on in that thing other than just a fiber to Ethernet converter. Still worth testing. No, you're right. I think I do believe I will have to do some more testing. PF Sense can be a layer 2 bridge that can do firewall stuff. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, don't is that the one where they is that the one where the SFP is on the or the GPON is built into the SFP? Um, I've seen a video where yeah that you can log into the SFP and like program the GPON if that's what you're referring to. Um, yeah, I'd be curious to know what I'm curious to know what video you're referring to. Um, yes, you guys both asked the same question. It was a good question though. I didn't test that. I should have, but it takes like 5 seconds to plug this all back together. Um, CWS Pod says I'm still rocking ESXi 8. Oh boy. 64 core Epic Milan, 512 gigs. Wow, that's a good little server or good big server actually. Um, I had to log into ESXi the other day for the first time in a long time, and I was like, "Oh boy, I forgot what that interface looked like. It's been so long since I've touched one." Um, what do you use? I'm not sure what you're asking. I think he's ESXi is what I think he or what other services maybe I'm thinking of. Um, Windows 10 Enterprise. Wow. Okay. If you bridge two interfaces in pfSense, you can still put rules and control traffic. Okay. I guess there's be a place for that. Yeah, Bob's former service was 2.5 gigs because that's how Bob rolls. That would be. I mean, I could see the use case, but I guess I'm not entirely sure I'd want to do that. Sorry. Um, Hi, Micah. Welcome back. Yes, I turned that off. Yeah, not sure. I was just like, well, I don't think we really need that because people just join in, then you can watch the rest later. Because yeah, I like Grish. That way, people can't be behind. Former. Well, Bob's got what 2 gigabit providers, multi-gigabit providers now. I forget you. Oh, I will say another issue I ran into. Um, are you kidding me? Hold on a second. There's no way that's working now. No, okay. Sorry. The Gofi or Go, I'm not sure how you pronounce it exactly. Go V, sorry, Go V Home Connect. I bought for my water sensors because I bought a 3 pack, or I got for Christmas a 3 pack of water sensors. That thing will not connect to the Grandstream network. It says move you closer to the router, and I literally had it like 4 feet from the access point, and it still would not connect. I don't know if it's a GoV issue, or what it is, but it will not connect to either one of my new wireless networks, SSIDs. I mean, so I don't think that's a Grandstream issue. Um, But it is interesting to point out that the Govee Smart Bridge, or what the hell they call that thing, will not connect. I don't know why. Um, I did. My network was originally configured for WPA3. I learned that the Roku devices cannot do WPA3, so I put it back on WPA2. I would have thought the Govee would be able to see that just fine, but I guess I'll have to roll back encryption even more to see if that's the issue. What I was confused about when I said it doesn't work was I looked over and it was blue where it's been red all day. So it was blue, and I thought maybe it had just finally connected, but it now is red again. So it was trying to connect, I guess, but nonetheless. So again, these are these weird things I'm discovering. I'm not sure I know what the actual issue is, or if it's a Grandstream issue, or if it's a Govee, or if it's an encryption issue, or whatever it is. But yeah. You people with two fiber ISPs. So Bob has two fiber ISPs. Joe has two fiber ISPs, I believe. Tony does. You do. Crazy. Can we just mandate gigabit service? Well, wouldn't that be nice? um, I don't know where to get. I'm going to leave that one alone. I could not bring myself to pay $165 for 5 gig fiber, 3 gig fiber, 3 gig fiber, and 1 gig. Oh, backup cable modem. Okay. I thought you had fiber. You know, if no DVR means more watch hours, I will absolutely turn it off every time. I was just more along like looking at some of the settings, and I think I actually turned it off the other day for Friday because it was off when I logged in and I just left it off. So I think I actually turned it off on Friday in preparation for our joint stream. We have no data caps here either, at least on my ISP. Now, the one north of me has data caps, but on their cable modem, they have no data caps for fiber, which I find interesting. But yeah, no, there's no data caps here. So I do. I have my house Wi-Fi is 2.4 and 5 gig, and then for my IoT, it's only 2.4 gig with client isolation, and but it doesn't like. I don't know why the Govee doesn't like it. 60 terabytes. Holy crap. Well, I think Bob, who's right below you in the chat, I think probably does the same amount of bandwidth, if I had to guess. Many IoT. Yeah, no, my IoT network is 2 gig only. I did not enable the 5 gig. Because there's no reason for 5 gig, and the only thing on my IoT network, the way I do it, is my smart switches, the thermostat, and what was going to be the Govee water leak detectors, because everything else I just trust, like my Roku and all that stuff. I just trust that, even though if you follow Tom Lawrence's advice, your cell phone should go on the ITU network, which in a way I can understand, but yeah. Backup internet is a thing. So you weren't here before, but when we talked about rolling this out, my network out the first place, is I am still considering, because the GCC is designed to do multi-WAN, I am considering getting like a Mint Mobile or whatever it is, like backup internet connection that's cellular, and plugging it into the WAN 2 port on the, I guess WAN 1, whatever you want to call it, port on the GCC, and setting up automatic failover, so that if the fiber were go down, we would still have 5G internet access. Obviously, our phones can get 5G, but like in the basement here, I don't get very good coverage. So I'd like to put up like an outdoor antenna that gets like the best signal possible as a backup. I've had fiber now only for about 4 months. And it hasn't gone out yet, knock on wood, but that doesn't mean it won't go out. So I just am thinking about a backup option as well. So Joe has 1 gig and 500 meg, and I think Joe pays less than I pay for both of his services, if I remember correctly. Like don't you have like crazy cheap fiber? I only have one fiber service provider, but just got that one a year ago. Oh, welcome in, Terrell. I didn't know if may have just jumped in. Maybe it's the client isolation. Does it need sort of... maybe? But it literally is, it's the gateway to the other devices. So the Wi-Fi, the water sensors connect to it, and then it connects to the internet. So I can't imagine it would need to do that. Bob says, I found client isolation to be problematic. Well, I could try... I'm pretty sure I tried both wireless networks. I'll have to go back and try again, but I'm pretty sure I tried both networks because, well, I was just trying to make it work, and it didn't work either way. Yeah, I'm 99% sure I tried both networks. One that had client isolation and one that didn't. One that was 5 gig and 2 gig, and one was 2 gig only. You know, I didn't try a hotspot yet. I should probably grab a hotspot and just see if it connects to the hotspot and eliminate the network as a variable. Yeah, I don't know if you could flash these things with your own firmware though. Anyway, let's see here. Where are we at? We're at an hour and 45 minutes. Go live. 11 viewers, 12 likes. That's pretty good. I like that. I agree with Bob. I got into the Eufy Echo, Eufy Echo system, and only few devices have custom firmware. My dad's weather station only does 2.5. Could get it to work, was to go really old. That's what I was afraid of, actually. I was like, I hope this isn't one of those situations where it's got to be like stupid simple settings or whatever. God, I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope it's I don't know what it is. I hope it's something other than that. It probably wants to do a firmware update and can't get the firmware update or whatever it is. For all I know, it's some stupid thing like that. Yeah. What is my wireless network set for? I'm curious. I because I am pretty sure I set it up to be. Hold on. So right now, my IoT network is 2.4 only, WPA 2 only. I mean, maybe I need to go to WPA mode, WPA 2 mode. Is that what you were saying to do, Bob? Does Grandstream AP support MLO? What is MLO again? What is MLO? Multi-link operation. Yes, Grandstream. Yeah, that you can do multiple bands at the same time. Their new ones, I think, support 2.4, 5, and 6. I do not have those access points. I only have the 2.4 and 5. But I do see in the software where I could specify it 6 gigahertz, but I did not buy the. So these are these are just Wi-Fi 6 access points. To do 6 gigahertz is the 6E, I believe, standard, right? 6E does the 6 gigahertz. I did not buy those. I don't think I have anything in the house that supports that, so I just went with those. So would the WPA encryption type be the problem? Would it need to be AES TKIP? Because I'm just AES right now. There's a lot of options in this thing. Yeah, so I right now my IoT network is WPA 2 only. It is pre-share key or PSK for the key mode. It's AES only encryption. So maybe that's my problem. Do not use TKIP. It's been deaccredited. Okay, well, so no TKIP is what I'm saying, or here what I'm hearing. Well, we could. I mean, I could change this. It's just the IoT network, so. If that thing connects all of a sudden, I'm going to laugh hysterically. um, all right. Well, I think I have to actually walk over and grab it. Modern access points. Oops. I just that changed the Wi-Fi. Crap. I didn't realize it was gonna do that. Um. Alrighty, well, let me go. I'm curious to go grab that and see if it works now. You're queuing up the screen and audio recorder? Shh, don't tell her. All right, let me go grab that. I'm gonna go test something real quick. Not because I'm out of just sheer curiosity, and I'm sure you guys are interested. I'll be right back. Yeah, so that didn't work either. It still says put the gateway closer to the router. It makes no sense to me. Um, like it should work. So now I'm gonna try it over here just to see. And let's try on the regular house network. But that's higher encryption. Well, now it's blue. Did it all of a sudden just start working? Nope. Didn't think so. It's confusing though because sometimes it like appears like it wants to work. So let's try because we're supposed to get a lot of rain tomorrow. It'd be nice if this actually worked. So I'm gonna try the regular house internet. So it's flashing like crazy blue. Like it's flashing, then it's solid, then it acts like it wants to work, And then it says put the gateway closer to the router, which it's only 5 feet from the access point. And this is, of course, on the regular network, so this is no client isolation, but it is WPA2, and it does have a 5 gig network. It has both. Yeah, so, nope, still broke. So, I mean, I don't know, it just... Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about... I laugh because most people just think it should work, and I'm like, do you realize how much code actually goes into making these things work and how much development it actually involves? Because nothing is just easy. It is easy because somebody spent hours and days and weeks and months making it work. Oh, that's interesting. I just called up what Bob just shared in the chat. I think it was Bob. No, Joe just shared. Well, I'm on WPA. Like I lowered the wireless standard down to be WPA and WPA2. I literally can't choose anything lower other than open. I mean, I could turn isolation off, but I don't think that's gonna fix it. What is 802.11w? It says it's disabled. I'm not even sure what W 802.11w is. Like I said, these access points seem like they're really cool because they got all kinds of options. I mean, they support 802.11r, 11k, 11v, whatever the hell those things are. You could set up bandwidth limitations on the Wi-Fi. I mean, you could suppress multicast. You could do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it just sure seems like this should be fairly easy. Is what I'm saying. But have a good night, Bob. Oh, sorry. I could turn. The main network is WPA2, but the IoT network is WPA/PA2. Should be. It never is. No, nothing is ever as easy as it should be. I could just turn off wireless client isolation, but that's basically the lowest standard I can go with. Or I could make an open network and just see if it if it connects to an open network. That'd be something. I have never seen Lost. A quick buffer, hopefully not. Haven't checked in on my setup recently, but nope, my encoder's still happy. At least it looks like it is. Hold on. Works messaging me. Alrighty. So, okay. So, roaming. Ooh, roaming. Do I? Probably actually might want to enable roaming then, wouldn't I? Since I have 2 access points. All right, so I turned off client isolation on my IoT network. I'm at the lowest security setting there is. We'll try this again. Try again. Operation confirmed. Select the 2.4 gigahertz wireless. I'm going to go with the IoT network. It does say, tip, this device only supports 2.4. You know what, though? Both my wireless networks have spaces in the name. I wonder if that's it. Nope. Client isolation didn't make a difference. I didn't think it would. Um, like I said, both my networks have spaces in them, so I wonder if that's what it is. Let me just add a new network. Call it test. um, go with that. All right, so I'm adding a single word IoT network, and I'm going to make it crazy simplistic. And I bet money we lose Wi-Fi again, because that would be basically what I expect at this point. Bob, what did you message me? Oh, you're not here anymore. Never mind. My Wi-Fi's down. Don't say anything. I hate how it has to provision like that. It's so dumb. All right, so my new wireless network is up. Let me connect to it, make sure it works. I don't even see it yet. That's the thing about Grandstream. I've noticed things just take a while to provision. Come on. So the new network works on my phone. So I'm going to join the test network now and see what that does. I'm afraid I might have to just go like open network and then do MAC address filtering so only like this device can get access to it. That would be kind of nuts, but that's what I'm leaning towards right now because this thing will not connect. Nope. Still nothing. So stupid. Just does not want to work. Alrighty, well, I think I'm done. Oops, holy crap, I'm... I believe, yeah. No, no, it wasn't actually, because I didn't unbox this until I got the Grandstream. I didn't unbox this stuff until I bought the stuff. So no, I didn't actually try it actually. Yeah, I think it's time to try an old Wi-Fi router. Is X out? No map still a thing? I don't even know what this is, Nils. Oh, okay. Sorry, I now I heard about that. Yes. What's the lowest supported compatibility? Um, it does support 802.11v, whatever that is. Is that what you're referring to? I'm not even sure what 802.11v is. And that's V as in Victor. All right, I'm gonna go just because. I'm gonna make the test network wide open. And just see if it supports anything. I'm curious now. Okay, let's cancel that. Add that. Because I really want this just to work before tomorrow. If this doesn't work on a wide open network, I'm going to laugh. Are you serious? It's not even connected to my open network. This thing will not connect to a Wi-Fi network. But yeah, no, I never unboxed this thing. I never got it out of the box until I had the new network. So this thing's never actually worked. Now that I'm thinking about it, I thought it was, but no, it was. It never was working. How does it not connect to a freaking open network? I mean, it's literally open. God, this thing is stupid. I mean, luckily, these things will scream no matter what. Like, you don't need the internet, but I wanted the internet notification. How stupid. Yeah, this makes no sense. Anyway, I literally you can't choose B or G. It's not an option. So weird. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm trying to see if like there's an option in here to like do something else, but it doesn't even. I don't know. I'm getting kind of mad actually at this stupid thing. Like this should. Well, I, is there even a button to do that? There's not even a reset way to factory reset it. There's no pins. There's no nothing. You can't choose. You can't choose B or G in the Wi-Fi profile. Like there's no. Unless I'm missing something. Hold on. There is an option under 2.4 gig to run in Wi-Fi 5 compatibility mode. Maybe that is what I need to do. Let's try that. I didn't notice that before, but yeah, under the radio page, there's an option. Oh, there is an option for B. Allow legacy devices. There is an option. I suppose I could show you this page instead of Me just reading it to you. Oops. Hold on. So under radio, I just turned this on. It might be something to check out at least. Have these water sensors memorized because I have to type it in like each time. Yes, Joe, the Unify access point does have the same SSID as the Grandstream. But I have to go find it. I'm not sure where I put it. It's I don't know what I did with it. Yeah, I mean at this point this is what I have to try because this didn't work. I just tried it again and it still doesn't work. So allow legacy devices. Save. All right, so let me go push the button again. Yeah, that didn't work either. What the hell? Yeah, you would. I mean, at this point, I'm shocked this thing doesn't work. Yeah, I think it is dead. I mean, I really don't know why. This makes no sense. Like, it shouldn't be this complicated. And unfortunately, like, this is the only way it works. Like, there's nothing else to choose from. Well, now it's just staying blue. Come on. Connect to the GLI net? Oh, we could try that. I think that'll work. Find some cable for it. Put it in. I don't remember what kind of wireless network though. I'm guessing this is a firmware issue. Like it's out of date on the firmware, and it can't it can't get the server. I don't know. I'm guessing this is some sort of firmware issue. Oh shit! It's 11. I gotta get going to bed. I mean, the fact that it can't connect to a open Wi-Fi network. I mean, oh, I just realized you're looking at the freaking webpage. I mean, that makes no sense. It can't even connect to the open Wi-Fi page. It's open Wi-Fi. There's literally open Wi-Fi, and it doesn't like it. I mean, that makes no freaking sense. I'm trying the open Wi-Fi with the last change we made. Yeah, it just keeps saying put the gateway closer to the router. It's like it can't be much closer. You know, CSW Pod, I've heard of somebody telling me that this worked, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, what the hell's the password on this damn network, though? Crap. Um, because now it's going to want a password. I don't remember what the password is. Um, did I refactor reset this? Because this isn't what I'm expecting. Ah, I did factory reset it. And now I need a network cable. All right. So now I am on the GLI net. We're going to try one last time. And if this doesn't work, then it's probably freaking dead. Come on. All right, what's the warranty on these things? Because this thing's dead. That is ridiculous. Like, seriously, I can't even connect to it. So, alrighty, well, that was a bust. There are still 10 of you here, which is awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you all had fun. I should be back next Tuesday. Yeah, so you all have a good night. Thank you for watching. Peace.